On today's Zestology, looking good, healthy skin, sunscreens that don't make you look like a clown, eating elk and avocado in London. Where can I find elk in London? Big discount codes and lots more. Hi, I'm Tony. I'm an author, presenter at Sky Sports, and years ago I went to the jungle and got ill. Very ill. So this is my podcast adventure to find more energy. It's packed with biohacking, science, health tech, supplements, and some of the most well-known experts on the planet.
This is something I spent 4 months of my life doing with electrodes glued to my head so that you can do a lifetime worth of meditation.
Decide what you don't give a fuck about, which is something you don't care about.
Some of it gets quite out there.
I had some stem cells sent up to my house that I had stored, and then I injected myself with mannitol.
And we even hack hangovers.
Alcohol is poisonous. So is water and oxygen in the wrong dosage.
So that's my podcast, Zestology. Live life with energy, vitality, and motivation. Yeah, welcome back to Zestology. I hope you're having a good week. I think a couple of weeks ago I spoke about a productivity tool that I've been using called pomofocus.io. It's really very good actually. I've kind of ditched Kanban and I'm now using pomofocus.io. And you divide up your day into 25-minute chunks. And I've divided up my day into a 25-minute chunk at the moment to record Zestology podcasts. There's one problem. I've only got 10 minutes and 13 seconds left. And I feel like it's stressing me out a bit because I need more time than that to record this podcast. So you need to cut yourself some slack with pomofocus.io every once in a while. Okay, today's guest is fantastic and a friend of the show. He's coming a little bit later on. But before that, I did want to talk about skin a little bit because it's summer. We need to look after our skin more than ever. And after recording with Andy, I made some big changes actually. I really think you're going to enjoy this, not least putting apple cider vinegar on my face. Not raw, but don't go to the fridge now, get the apple cider vinegar out and smear it on your face. That's not a good idea. You will hear how I used it a little bit later on this podcast. But I did want to look at one thing before we get into the meat of this podcast, and that is a quest of mine, which I've been talking about for quite a long time on this podcast, and that is, look, what you put on your skin goes straight into your skin. And therefore, you want to be using natural sunscreens. But it's very hard to find a natural sunscreen that doesn't make you look like a clown. And now that I've got a small human to look after, I'd quite like him not to look like a clown either, but still use natural sunscreen. So I've been testing some of the very best, and I'm ready to report my results. There's an excellent site that can help you with this quest for natural ingredients for your skin, and it is EWG Skin Deep. Okay, so if you look for EWG online, then you can type in all manner of products and it'll give you scores sort of out of 10 on how clean or dirty a particular product is. And what's really interesting is that some of these natural sunscreens that you think are going to be great for your skin, I've often found that some of these natural sunscreens, they might be SPF 50, but I still seem to almost burn a little bit wearing them. And it's explained to me on this site that some of them are pretty good at blocking UVB light, but not UVA. And some of them are good at blocking UVA light, but not UVB. It's, even for someone who's got into the weeds as much as me, it's quite a confusing area. So that's why I found EWG's Skin Deep website very helpful for this. I've been looking at 3 sunscreens that are quite interesting that I wanted to tell you about. The first is one of the things that I think is really helpful is, as we've already covered, these natural sunscreens do make your face look a bit white because the main ingredient is zinc oxide, and it just doesn't work that well in terms of not making you look like a clown. So I bought a tinted sunscreen. I know, and tinted may sound a bit weird, but it's just got a slight bit of pigment in it. And I bought a tinted sunscreen. The first one I wanted to talk about from, I think it's called Australian Gold. And as I record this, I'm just going to check. Yeah, Australian Gold. Australian Gold Botanical SPF 50 Tinted Face Lotion. And I bought this, It's a mineral lotion, it's non-greasy, it's antioxidant rich, it says on the label UVA and UVB protection. It is one of Australian Gold UK's all-time best-selling products. And it does rub in very nicely, doesn't make you look like a clown. But then I went over to EWG's site, and this is why it's worth checking on this site, and it turns out that it's all very good for looking after your UVB, but your UVA protection is not very good, and that's the bit that causes aging. So it might be SPF factor 50, but it's actually not got that much zinc oxide in it. I mean, you look good with it, but if it's not actually doing the job, I'm not sure whether I can recommend it. Now, I've been using a new brand called All Good sunscreen. All Good. This is also tinted and comes in SPF 30 or 50. The SPF 50 does not rub in that well. And I'm going to be honest, I mean, it obviously does do the job. It is excellent. It gets an excellent rating on EWG. But the problem is, I think if you don't apply it very carefully, as a bloke especially, you do look like you're wearing makeup, which is fine. Hey, there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup. But I don't really want to look like I'm wearing makeup. The factor 30 does seem to rub in quite well, but it's obviously not such a high SPF. But I think this is a much better option, All Good. And in fact, All Good is easy to get in the States, very hard to get in the UK. I've had to get it shipped over from the US. And I've also now ordered their aluminium-free deodorant because I think the brand is just fantastic. They also look after the reefs and the oceans. They're really environmentally friendly. I think it's an excellent brand, and that is probably coming in as my number one at the moment. But I did want to mention a third one as well, and that is Babbo. Babbo Botanicals make sunscreens, and they are apparently, now I haven't tried this one yet, but in my quest for better sunscreens that do rub in, Babbo Botanicals make a mineral sunscreen which is SPF 50, scores great on the EWG site, and all the reviews on Amazon, 1,290 of them, say that it rubs in quite well. So it's got plant-based ingredients, it's reef friendly, it's cruelty free, it's got all the kind of good stuff in it. Apparently it's good for kids skin and adult skin as well. It's got calendula flower, shea butter. I might be thinking about a former footballer called John O'Shea then. It's got sunflower seed oil, jojoba, all the rest of it. And it apparently protects you well from the sun. But this is the third one I haven't mentioned yet, and I haven't actually tried it out. So if you've tried this one, let me know what you think. As I say, it's a work in progress. My favourite so far is the All Good, but the SPF 50 is a little bit thick, and it's tinted, but it does make you look a little bit like you're wearing makeup, which is fine if you want to be wearing makeup and not great if you don't. The Australian Gold stuff I would rule out. Again, up to you, but I don't like the EWG score on that one. And the Babbo Botanicals could be a new favourite. It's arriving soon, so I'll let you know how it goes. Thank you for enduring my witterings about sunscreen, but I know a lot of people worry about this stuff, and so do I, and therefore I'll continue to talk about it, and I think that's one of the great things about this podcast. As we get older, we definitely get more eccentric, and I would have to say that's the case for me, but I like worrying about this stuff, and I like thinking about it, and therefore I'll carry on talking about it, because I know a lot of people listening do as well. And today's podcast guest is bang on theme in terms of this skincare theme, because Andy Hnilo is my friend, the former Days of Our Lives actor. He's a model and a skincare specialist who founded Alitura. And he had a dreadful accident, and a specialist said to him, "You have the worst facial injury I have ever seen." And Andy managed to heal those injuries with natural methods. So on this podcast interview today, we started by generally catching up. It's been ages, and as I say, we're friends, and I used to see him around quite a bit, but obviously haven't seen anyone around for the last year or so. So we started by talking about how he's moved to Nevada and that whole thing of not seeing people. We've both so missed out on not having a bit of face-to-face time with people, less human connection over the last year.
missing out on that human connection. I mean, I've seen my mom once, a little over a year, 15 months. And I totally understand it, being in that demographic of just, having to be very careful with COVID and, getting that, just especially my mom, my dad, just my sisters I haven't seen. So, I mean, family is everything to me personally. And so I just, I've taken a little bit of a hit. I felt myself like, things have definitely changed. It just reminds me of how much I need them in my life. I mean, seeing them on the phone is great. And, doing our little family Zooms on the weekend is fun, but it's not the same. And I'm definitely missing my family. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then when you think about, I think I had flights booked for Paleo Effects last year, and I'm sure I would have seen you there. For people listening, this is this kind of massive health festival / conference that takes place in Austin every April, and it was obviously cancelled last year, and I don't know if it's going ahead this year, to be honest, but is it?
I'm not sure. I was going to ask you about the biohacking summit, biooptimization summit in the UK.
Yeah.
So I hear that's going on.
Well, yes. In September, right? Yeah. Are you going to come for that?
I want to. I definitely want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. I need to get the quarantine situation figured out. If I have to go there in quarantine for 14 days, I better,
God, that's not going to be much fun. But I mean, listen, Tim is doing a great job putting that together, and it was such good fun last time. It'd be great if you came. That'd be fantastic. Yeah,
I'd love to come. Tim's a great guy too, so I mean, I'd love to support that. I mean, and it's kind of like the little Bulletproof conference in the UK. It's very similar from
yeah. So, and the last time there, I mean, I know a lot of people listening to this will have gone to that. That is the kind of the equivalent of events like the biohacking conference and Paleo Effects, but in the UK. And I got chatting a lot to the Functional Self guys there, who are lovely, and they sell your products in the UK, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. The Functional Self, we actually secured retail distribution with them in UK, New Zealand, and Australia. And we're working on Southeast Asia with them as well. That's what's kind of serendipitous, because they were our first wholesale partner ever back in June 2014. I remember Warren, Brad reached out asking for an obscene amount of clay masks. I mean, and I was just fulfilling order by order at that time, and it was just cool that they believed in the product that much, and they've been so supportive ever since.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. So listen, I've been looking forward to chatting to you about some skin stuff, some health stuff. I want to chat to what's new with you. How much? I wanted to ask you about, in terms of your own regime and what you've learned about skin and skin health, how much do you believe in infrared light? And I'm asking for myself personally. I've noticed recently obviously, I'm just like not as young as I used to be, but kind of got some little red marks around my nose. And I wondered whether getting under that infrared light every day might help.
I just need, right off the bat, it's almost like, they're not sunspots, but they're like little pock marks, discoloration. So absolutely. And I'll send you some of the clay mask. If we did a little bit of right there, see, it's not like you're going to be reintroducing bacteria back into the skin. If it was something like an infection, any type of acne or cystic acne or something like that, that's repairable for sure. I would go with like a low level, maybe 0.5 derma roller starting off, and then a clay mask right there to bring a lot of blood flow. And then what the microderma roller does, it allows for the ingredients to sink in a little bit further. And I think if the clays will help pull a lot of it'll get a lot of the stagnant capillaries, which I think is creating some of the discoloration.
Well, around the nose, if it's like a little bit red, kind of, I mean, sometimes I wonder if it's a little bit kind of almost allergy related, histamine related, but just a little bit red marks around there. You reckon a bit of derma rolling and a bit of clay mask would help bring that out?
The clay mask, I would hold off on the derma roller first, because you're right, that may be a little, allergy related. Yeah. But either way, I'll send that to you. Yeah, that'd be fun to work with. I mean, I love putting puzzles like that together. It's not even that,
me too. Yeah. And I think it's so interesting. I do think the answers are often out there. I mean, my friends tend to think I'm completely crazy. But for instance, one of the things that this is not skin related, but I've got to tell you about it because I've just worked it out recently. been going to the loo a lot in the middle of the night, and I was kind of Googling potential reasons why I might be going to the loo. And one of these things said, well, maybe you're eating too much salt. Even if it's good salt, you might be eating too much. And another one said, try wearing compression socks in the evening. They're not just good for recovery, but they're good for making sure that when you finally put your feet up at night, all the kind of fluids that might have collected in the bottom of your legs come to the rest of your body. So I did both of those changes, and it's just been a revelation in the middle of the night.
Wait, hold on. Compression socks, and you cut down sodium?
I cut down sodium, and I've been wearing compression socks from around 7 o'clock until I turn out the light, which is like 10:30 or something like that.
And you go to bed with the socks on?
Yeah, and my wife says I look very sexy when I'm walking around with the socks on.
That's a good idea. I've heard that. Ben Greenfield talks about the compression socks all the time when he flies. That's a good idea too, especially because you're in one position for hours. I'm going to try that out. As far as the sodium, I'm a huge fan of sodium. So we'll see how that.
Yeah.
Because it's a misconception. Well, not a misconception. It's you hear both sides as far as people are getting, they're a little deficient in sodium. And it's kicked my sodium up big time. But we'll see. I'm going to try that out. I'll let you know how that goes.
Well, it's not just it's. I think for me, it's not necessarily just sodium, is it? It's fine to have a load of sodium, but it's the sodium potassium ratio. So some people probably just naturally kind of hold on to a bit more potassium than others, and maybe for me, it was more about potassium and less about sodium. But anyway,
what it is.
Yeah, the reason I'm telling you is just because I think that I often think there are fairly unusual to us or natural solutions to be found. And I think in terms of skin and aging, I'm not afraid of aging. I'm not afraid of aging at all. But if I've got red marks on my face that don't need to be there, I'll do something about it.
Absolutely. And I think with the recipe of exfoliating, and then healing and hydrating that skin, and the most important time to do so while you're sleeping. I think that's another thing to add in, just with those compression socks at night, just a little night cream or something like that to hydrate that area after you exfoliated. During that cell turnover process, you're going to develop a healthier skin cell, and you're also going to fade away over time some of that those dead skin cells, which hopefully will create just a more even skin tone. It'll take, a month or so, a month and a half, but I guarantee you'll see results with I keep upping my products, man. I'm really not trying to do that.
No, this is, do you know what? It's really good that we've talked. Andy, just before we go any further, can we switch the cameras off? Because my computer's fan's going crazy. And whilst I enjoyed you peering at my red marks on my face.
No, hey, I'm just saying, I'm just dissecting it.
It's good. I'm glad you have been. I'm very glad. But that part of the consultation is over now. So yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. So the clay mask, I must confess, I went through a phase of doing your masks, and I loved it, and so did Faith, my other half, as well. But I haven't done it. I don't think I've gotten it at the moment, so I need to get back into that. Remind me what the clay mask does, because that was your kind of original breakthrough moment, really, wasn't it?
Absolutely. What the clay mask does, so it's a blend of 4 clays: Rasul, kaolin, iolite, and bentonite. And so the blend of the evenly distributed clays, they all have different properties, and they're so mineral rich. What they do is they bring just a rush of blood to the surface of the skin. And a lot of the stagnant capillaries right around the eye area, they get circulated around, creating just a more lively appearance, a more fresh, youthful appearance. A lot of the stagnant capillaries create some of that puffiness, and they create a lot of that congestion around the eye and nasal area. So aside from just really opening up that pathways and just getting you looking more vibrant and fresh in the morning, you're also you're subtly exfoliating the dead skin cells that have just accumulated over the years. So just reducing or just resulting in a more vibrant, youthful appearance. And it's just, the detoxifying capabilities of clays and just the freshwater pearl powder content in there, combined with 10% ascorbic acid, organic kelp powder, American ginseng, in first 4 hour milking grass-fed colostrum that will be sourced out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. It's the only colostrum known in the world right now that I know of that's collected within the first 4 hours. We had 6 before, so it's extremely live, enzyme rich, loaded in those good IGF-1 growth factors that are going to really help develop the healthiest skin cell during that cell turnover process. So it's just I haven't seen anything like it at a med spa. That's why a lot of med spas are using it in their hundreds of med spas are using it in their back bar procedures as an all-natural treatment alternative to things like microdermabrasion and harsh chemical peels that I think are really counterproductive to our skin cells overall. Yeah.
Just interrupting this podcast for one moment to remind you that my podcast partner for June is Magnesium Breakthrough. And I know that over the last couple of months, I've become, really, really into it, actually. It's absolutely one of my go-to supplements. I'm going away on holiday soon, and that will be one of the things that is definitely packed. But I thought it might be useful just to read a couple of reviews on Magnesium Breakthrough as well, because if I look at this one from Marie, I'd give this 100 stars if I could. Within 1 month of use, I went from daily struggles with restless legs, constipation and poor sleep to no struggles with any of that. I know it sounds dramatic and far-fetched, but it's true. And have a look at Bill, who's obviously been using an Oura ring, and he says, on the first night of taking Magnesium Breakthrough, my deep sleep jumped up 2 hours, which has been the highest reading so far from my Oura ring. So if you're having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, one of the best things you can possibly do is start getting enough magnesium. And if I ever do struggle with sleep, and sometimes it happens, especially in the middle of the night, you wake up and you can't go back to sleep, I will pop a Magnesium Breakthrough then. There are 7 unique forms of magnesium in Mag Breakthrough, and if you head to magbreakthrough.com/Zestology, use the code Zestology10 during checkout, you can save 10%. And that's magbreakthrough.com/Zestology. Use the code Zestology10. And if you're in the UK, go to bioptimizers.co.uk and use that same discount code. I really think let's just have a look at one more review before we go back to the show. This is from Amanda, who says, I fall asleep much faster and stay asleep now until normal waking hours. You have a customer for life. Wow. It's magbreakthrough.com/Zestology. You get a good chunk off there. Back to the show. I mean, in terms of, obviously, you've moved to Nevada now. What are you doing? What's your because I think I've always been a little bit precious about my skin, but I don't think I actually pay it much attention at the moment. I've been neglecting it a bit. So what is your kind of routine with either the products that you sell or not? What kind of goes into looking after your skin, especially bearing in mind that Nevada, you've got a lot of sunlight there, and you've got a cracking looking tan there, but I'm sure you're kind of looking after your skin at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean, the most important thing is just staying very hydrated, not only internally but externally with really good moisturizing agents. We use our moisturizer. I use a Gold Serum at night. Towards like the afternoon, towards the evening, I'll stack it with the night cream as well to get a really rich, like just a thicker, more dense. They both have much different active ingredients that actually work together very well. So that's what I'll do to stay hydrated. I exfoliate at least 4 times a week. I'm doing the mask at least every other day, if not. We have something to prepare for pretty much daily. So, and I just like to be on point. It just, aside from what it does for your skin, I swear, just the freshness, what it does to that eye area and like the nasal, and just relieving a lot of that congestion in the airways. On top of that, really just get me locked in for everything, and it's just kind of like my little part of my ritual. Yeah. So I'll do the mask almost daily. Okay, but the derma roller I'll take a day or 2 off in between, and I'm using the 1 millimeter derma roller. I'll combine the clay mask. After rinsing with the Pearl Cleanser, I'll derma roll and then mix up a clay mask with essential oil blend of Australian sandalwood, blue tansy, lemongrass, carrot seed, ylang ylang, German chamomile. I don't know if I already said that. Roman chamomile, sweet orange oil, and then a little lavender and clary sage. So it's weird, but it's just what I do. God, and then I add methylene blue to it as well. So you
add some methylene blue to it as well.
Wow. I do. Okay. It's just I've heard so many things about what it does to the mitochondria of our cells, and I feel like with especially opening up the pathways with the derma roller, there's an acceleration and just an enhanced brightness, brightening to the skin. I've noticed. And then also I really trust the science behind methylene blue. So I'll mix that up, put it on, leave it on till it dries, and then I'll have the red light on, Tony. So that touches back on what you said with what you said earlier. I just swear during that drying process, the cell, all that circulation is being pulled to the surface of the skin. Your cells are getting activated. The cell turnover process you're right in the middle of that.
Wow. So hang on, you're putting the clay light on and then you're switching an infrared light on like a Juve or red light rising or something like that, and you're sitting in front of the light while it dries. While it dries.
I mean, sometimes upside down and in my inversion table right here too.
So you're getting all that. You are living the dream. Amazing.
Hey, I'm telling you, it makes me feel, it makes me feel great. So I swear by that. So that's my little routine. So once it dries, I'll hop in the shower, rinse it off, and we have our meteorite scrub. So every other day, maybe every other 2 days, I'll rinse off with a meteorite scrub. I mean, that has fulvic acid, mandelic acid, hyaluronic acid, ground meteorite powder. It's unbelievable. It gently exfoliates your cells after such an intense clay mask. That's exactly what you need. More on the acid standpoint.
Right. Yeah, I think I need to get them and have a play with them. They sound great.
No. I'll send you some. It's finished, but it's just getting bottled. I would say by the end of May we should have it in the store. But I'm
cool.
really very excited for that. But that's, and then so your skin's gonna be nice and exfoliated and really fresh. So what you want to do is that's the best, most important time to really hit it with. I would use the gold serum or the moisturizer. And then definitely repair at night with the night cream, and that's just that's what I do. But I mean, you stay consistent with that routine, or at least part of it, you're going to see results very quickly. It's pretty fun to see the powerful transformations that our customers have experienced.
That's really cool. Yeah. I think. No, I'm very inspired actually listening to you on slightly different ways to approach my routine. And then I wonder, kind of more long term, you hear a lot of people in the kind of natural health and biohacking world, the health optimization world, you hear them talk about things like vampire facials and stem cells. You hear them talk less so about Botox. But would you consider any of those things as well?
To each their own. If someone has something where they hold a lot of stress right in that third eye area in the T-zone, or if they're clenching, and even if they want to use it for wrinkles, I just have no real opinion. I want to see how far I can get just by using my products and things like that. But also at the same time, I'm not
ruling it out.
I'm not going to hit anybody for using Botox. As far as the vampire facials, I've been interested in that. That's really hits to like things, or the science behind things like the derma roller. It's very similar to something like a dermapen, but it doesn't go down quite as far. But it's something that you can do out of the comfort of your own home and not have to go to the dermatologist or a very expensive treatment and worry about unpredictable downtime. That's one thing that I actually, I'm a little scared to play around with things like that just because of the downtime. I know what I'm getting every single time right now, but then again, it's just there's it's 2021, Tony. I mean, there are so many cool things coming out with exosomes and stem cells and what Harry Adelson's doing over at Docere and Dr. Amy Killen and Asprey and Greenfield. I mean, so we follow the same people, and we're always looking to optimize our health. So
definitely. I'm not ready to inject stem cells into my penis yet, but actually, I mean, on the Botox front, I've got a friend. He's very famous. I'm not going to say who he is, but he works in TV in this country. And he said to me, Tony, you don't need Botox. Even if you were thinking of it, you don't need it. When you do, I'll tell you. So he hasn't told me as yet.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I mean, listen, maybe I live in hope that we might see you at some point soon.
No, definitely. I think that is if that conference is happening in September, I'm going to have to come out because Warren, I think we could share a booth over there. I think we're going to be speaking at that too. So that'll be fun.
That'd be great.
And it was just a great way to they house our products as it is. So just as far as transporting all the inventory, that would really be a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
To have Warren help me out there. But no, I mean, I'd love to come out and see you guys. That'd be great.
Yeah, maybe there'll be more confident. So you're not going to Paleo Effects, even if it is happening. That's not on the agenda for you this year.
Let's see. Paleo Effects I'm just not sure if it's happening.
No, I'm not. I haven't heard anything, so maybe not. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotta.
It's so hard for these conferences and summits and festivals at the moment because we just don't know what's going on a month or two in advance.
I know it's one of those things where Bulletproof conference is going online, but I think they're going to do something. They're going to try to do something in person.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, but yeah, it's just with the second waves and all these things going on. It's tough to find out what's it's tough to plan.
Yeah. We were supposed to get married with 120 people there last year, Andy. And in the end, we did get married, but there were 3 of us there rather than 120.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was wonderful. It was the most amazing. And since then, loads of people have said, oh, I'm so jealous that you went and got married, just the 3 of you. So much easier. And we're going to have a big party and a celebration this year. But, everyone's had to change plans, haven't they, in so many ways.
Oh, man. That's it. There were so many just... aside from, the heartbreaking situations of so many small business owners and business owners in general, shutting their passions down. That's what kills me.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes you want to do something to help.
Yeah.
If you can. Yeah.
Certainly does. Yeah. Well, Andy, I'm glad everything's going for you so well anyway. And obviously the question that I always ask, and I've asked you before, I'm going to ask you again, is what is one book that you would recommend and one tip for living with more energy and vitality? And I always enjoy your answer, especially to the energy and vitality, because I feel I always learn quite a lot from you. You've always got some unusual stuff going on. So what have you got for me today?
Oh, I have a good one for you.
Oh, good.
I would say I've been really interested in the Modern Herbal Dispensary by Thomas Easley and Stephen Horn.
Okay.
It's like this. It just gives you so much information on so many different herbs and really just how powerful nature's medicine can be for us, plant medicine in general, and you can make little tinctures. It's something I'm fascinated with, especially from a formulating aspect that I just geek out. I think you're well aware of, but that right there is something that if you're interested in herbs and things like horsetail and ginger and turmeric and curcumin and what they do and the just the overall health capabilities that they have for reducing inflammation, which is the root of all disease. Please get in there and just the holistic side of things, alternative medicine. Really just fall in love with Eastern medicine and then, Western medicine, for emergency. The combination of both, I feel like, is the key to longevity. So that right there is,
that sounds brilliant. Yeah.
The Modern Herbal Dispensary, a medicine making guide by Thomas Easley and Stephen Horn. Highly recommend that.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Yeah. It's fun. Now, as far as energy, all right. Okay, so I swear by intermittent fasting, and then but the biggest thing is what you eat the night before. So if you're going to go, I swear by beets, I eat the same thing pretty much every night, but so it's elk, avocado, beets, Brussels sprouts or broccoli, arugula, and a little bit of fermented vegetables. That's the night before. And I wake up on fire. I really do. But I'll get up. I have a little cold, it's a little colder right now. It's 55 when I woke up, but I have a saltwater pool. So I'll hop in there for about 2 minutes. I'll take a 2-minute cold shower to rinse any little bit of chlorine off. So that right off, as soon as I open my eyes, within 20 seconds, I just really feel like that's,
wow.
It sets, and it gets so many chemicals just rushing through your brain, just kind of, just shocks the system a little bit, but I swear by it. Then I'll make my bulletproof coffee with a little ooh, man, what do I have in there? Cordyceps, lion's mane, cacao powder, maca, stevia, cayenne, Ceylon cinnamon, bulletproof coffee, obviously.
You got that all like the modern herbal dispensary, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then, so, I mean, I'm good until, I mean, things are picking up. So it's, I've needed every little bit of, help on the energy standpoint that I can get. But, yeah, that I'm usually good staying hydrated with things like we just talked about with salt water. Gerolsteiner, good glass bottled packaged water. Pellegrino is awesome too. Staying really consistent with my saunas. I'm big on niacin. Just changing the oil constantly, and then remineralizing constantly with good good mineral water, and then also I supplement with minerals as well. I just feel like as we age, we're depleted of them, so it's nice to reintroduce them naturally when we can. But yeah, staying hydrated, and then just not overdoing it with things like sugar, grains. Stay away from sugar, grains, dairy, intermittent fat.
Do you ever have a dessert after your elk?
I mean, I'll tell you, I don't. I would say I don't, but I mean, I'm starting to. It's crazy. I'm starting to, man. But I'll cut that down. But I mean, if I'm telling the truth, I mean, every now and then I'll fire down some cheesecake. I mean, that's my go-to.
There's nothing wrong with a slice of cheesecake occasionally.
It's you just got to enjoy got to have this life now.
Yeah. Hey, if you're locked down, you deserve a slice of cheesecake. But listen, Andy, that's all brilliant. As always, I feel so inspired after chatting to you. It's really great to catch up again.
No, likewise. Hey, and I wanted to offer a coupon just to following if anybody wants to check out any of our products.
Yeah.
It's UK and Australia and Canada actually are our top 3. So, yeah, you have a big following and so many lovely customers out in the United Kingdom that, I'd love to share a coupon code. We're just going to do Tony 2021.
Okay.
For 20% off the store, and it's I don't know, was that 2014 when we had our first podcast, or was it 2015? I'm not sure, but
I think it's probably 2015, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to thank you. You definitely helped us spread the word very early on. You have people really adore you out all around the world, man. And I just appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I mean, it was that I think the first time we met in person was at the Bulletproof conference, maybe 2015 or 2016. But by then I was already well into this world and well into what you did as well. So it was great to meet in person. And things have moved on a lot since then, haven't they? Yes, they have. Yeah.
And we have a lot of exciting things to announce just by, I would say, hopefully by the end of the summer. But we have six new products in the work. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. A lot of work though, but that's why.
Yeah.
It's important to take care of yourself and stay healthy.
It is. I did, because I know you work hard as well, and I feel like I'm a bit of a type A personality as well, and I've definitely been working on doing less. But of course, if you're locked down and you're not allowed to see your mates and you're not allowed to go out, and the weather's not very good, you might as well just get all your work done. So I feel like I've done all my work for the year over the last couple of months, and now I'm up for relaxing a little bit more.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. You've earned it.
Yeah, that's definitely. Awesome. Okay, so Andy, that discount code, does that work on the Alitura site?
Yeah, just head on over to alitura.com. That's ALITURA.com. And I mean, please feel free to reach out to me, Andy at alitura.com. It's at Alitura Naturals on Instagram and Facebook, and at Andy Hnilo on Instagram and Facebook as well. And it's we love what we do, don't we? Right?
We do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, look, I hope we'll see you before the end of the year, Andy. Really great to talk to you again, and enjoy that elk and avocado tonight, and the cheesecake.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And as I said at the start, since I've been recorded this podcast a few weeks ago, I have been trying the apple cider vinegar in the clay mask, and my goodness. And you know how you know that it works? Because it brings your skin out all red. I mean, short term, not long term, but it definitely works. Just before I finished this podcast, Andy's dinner of elk and avocado sounded good, didn't it? I mean, elk. Where do I get elk in London? Where do I get elk? Full stop. Sounds like a great staple for dinner. But, I mean, I've looked on Ocado and I can't get elk. So that's going to be my new mission. Maybe I'll be able to tell you about the elk next week on Zestology. Do you know what? I'm going to make it my mission to find elk in London. And next week on Zestology, we will try it out. Because that's what we do. In the meantime, look, have a brilliant week. Enjoy my sunscreen recommendations and everything that Andy talked about. Remember that this podcast is brought to you by my loyal podcast partners for June, Magnesium Breakthrough. Such impressive discounts on that page. I absolutely love it. I use it every single day. If you head to magbreakthrough.com/zestology, you'll see a very serious looking picture of me on there. magbreakthrough.com/zestology. It is the top 7 forms of magnesium for stress and better sleep, all in one bottle. And depending on the order that you can make a huge saving. I think you can save on that page 24% and you get free shipping. And it's the most potent, complete, full spectrum magnesium formula ever created. And I use it. It's just brilliant. Take it on an empty stomach and you'll feel it within around 30 minutes. If you take it without food, it allows for maximum absorption. Yeah, it's really good. The other thing about magnesium, just one more thing about magnesium, and obviously this goes for all supplements, you want to be wary of brands that don't test for mercury. There are brands of magnesium that scientists have found to have some of the highest levels of mercury ever measured in any product. And obviously, Magnesium Breakthrough has none. That's it. Thanks for listening. Next week, more elk, more sunscreen. Who knows what else? See you then.